So the federal marshals get me inside the federal building. I think one goes the other way, and then I'm already inside the building, and I'm like, cuffed and stuff. And they bring me into this. I think it's like in the basement. At least it was a lower floor. It didn't seem like it was at ground level. But anyway, I don't really know. I remember going down these steps, and I'm following this officer, and it looked like just cell number one. He opens it up, and it has white bars on it. I have never in my life seen a cell with white bars, but Yakima's Federal Building has white bars on its cells. I don't think they've ever changed that or whatever, but that's like some old school slammer stuff going on. And he brought me to the little cell and had a little bench and a little sink, and he opened it up, and in I went, and there he shut it, and it was just right across me, slam. And I was like, oh, and he's like, you can sit on that bench, and that's what I did. I sat down on the bench, and to be honest, I didn't even move from that bench. So I was sitting in there a while. I'm not exactly sure how long. It was a little while. And then after a little while, I was just sitting there on the cold. That bench stayed cold. It never got warm. Like, I was sitting on it, and it, how like a bench, that bench, it was a white bench. It was made out of metal and painted, and it didn't get warm. It stayed cold. But I just sat there. I didn't say nothing. Didn't do nothing. I wouldn't go anywhere. I mean, it's like, I'm here. I don't even know if there was enough room to do a push-up in that room. There really wasn't any kind of room at all. Sure is a scary building. Anyway, so I'm sitting there. The cop shows back up again. He was the same one that put me in there. He opens up the door. Says, follow me. Come with me. I don't think it was follow me. I was like, come with me. I'm like, okay. So behind me he was. And he told me where to go. And I followed him. And we entered a courtroom. And I think that's the smallest I've ever felt. I mean, I was talking about that before, but I mean, here's the actual story. I'm sitting there. He brings me into this courtroom. Off to the left side, he puts me next to the prosecuting attorney. So it's a lady. And there's the two cops that, I don't know, just okay to call them, two federal marshals are right behind the bench right there behind me. And now I'm inside a federal courtroom. It was really actually quite beautiful if you look at all the hardwood. The hardwood around this place is amazing. I mean, and the judge is right up in the sky next to the seal. I mean, you got to look way up for the judge. I'm like way up there, and I'm just kind of sitting on the bench, and then somebody says, like, get up, and so I got up, and we were all up, and the judge comes in, and he sits down, and then we're supposed to sit down, and so, like, I sat down, and then he was looking over something on his, I don't know if he was looking at a computer or some paperwork or something, and he was just like, he started talking to the prosecuting attorney, was right next to me, and I don't think this was like a formal, this was kind of like an informal, like, hearing, like, he had just pulled me into his courtroom to figure out what was going on. And I'm telling you what, I didn't like it. It was like scary. I mean, it's like the United States of America is like, Mr. Wilkes, come here and sit down and shut up. And I'm like, okay, I'm shutting up now. And he just started talking to this lady, and then he turns to me. He's like, Mr. Wilkes. I'm like, yes, Your Honor. He's like, why didn't you show up to court? I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't know that I had court. He said, well, something you may not be aware of, any kind of wreck on a national park is federal jurisdiction. And you were given a ticket for failure to maintain vehicle under control. which sets a court date. And then I expected you here. And I was like, oh, that, oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was in a mental hospital. And I didn't failure to maintain my vehicle, sure, I was aiming for that cliff. And the judge just kind of looked at me. And then he looked at his federal marshals, and then I think he just chewed everybody out. I can't really say what he said. I mean, there was probably the next 5 minutes where he couldn't understand why I wasn't in his courtroom when he had set a time for me to be in his courtroom. Because even if, like, for some reason, let's say that I didn't want to be in his courtroom and I didn't go, he still had these professional federal marshals that were supposed to come get me. And I was getting the sense that it didn't matter where the fuck I was. When he ordered me in that courtroom, I was supposed to be there. Like, short of dead, I should have been in that courtroom no matter what. So when I was in a mental hospital and the federal marshals didn't go get me, they got their ass chewed in front of me. I was weird. I didn't smile because I just didn't think anything was funny at that moment. It just wasn't funny. You're sitting in a federal judge. I've been in front of a misdemeanor judge. I'm not scared. I've been up on a superior court judge, and I mean, yeah, that's mildly scary sometimes. But I mean, honestly, I don't know. It didn't really. They don't really scare me that much. But when I'm in front of a federal judge, I've got some fear issue going on. This man could do some stuff to you that don't stop ever. And I'm sitting there just with my head down, like, I'm gonna shut the fuck up, you know, kind of thing. I don't have nothing to say. And he's chewing him, dude. It was weird. He's just like, and he said, and you know, he's just kind of sitting up there. It's like, well, I set a court date. Mr. Wilkes wasn't in my courtroom. And if he's in a mental hospital, then that means you're supposed to go get him. What, you can't collect somebody in a mental hospital? And I think the officers were just like, yes, Your Honor. You know, and then you shoot at me, and it's like, you're in a wreck on a national park. You have to come see me, you know. And I just was like, and he chewed like he chewed both of ass cheeks on both of the police officers, and then he chewed like both my ass cheeks. One for even thinking I could do something like that on a park and stuff like that. And he chewed I think he even chewed on the prosecuting attorney, but not too much, because I think she didn't really do anything wrong. But I think he was just mad, because, I mean, that was pretty much what it was. It was a whole, I think it was like a 10 or 15 minutes of he couldn't figure out why he had set a court date and not everybody was there. He just couldn't do it. It didn't make sense. Like, there was no place in his mind, if he had set a court date, why people weren't inside of his courtroom. He's a federal judge. Why aren't there people in my courtroom if I say there's people in my courtroom? So I think what happened was he must have been there looking around like, where's Mr. Wilkes? Probably had some federal marshals come here like, Mr. Federal Marshals, where's Mr. Wilkes? And they're just like, I don't know. I mean, he would like, but you're supposed to know. Well, anyway, that's about enough of that. I'm just saying, everybody left that room with some chews on their ass, except those cops had no ass, and I had no ass left either. He told me that I could get out of his courtroom and that he would dismiss it, but to not be messing around on any of these national parks again. I was like, yes, Your Honor. And the cop like took me out the door and like uncuffed me and pushed me outside. I mean, not like hard. He just like, and here you go. This is where you go, and shut the door. And then I was standing there on the street, looking around, looking up at this big, scary building, and decided I never wanted to do anything that would get me in a courtroom. And if I ever wreck again, it ain't never gonna be on a national park. I want to wreck anywhere else. I don't want to be in a courtroom like that. That is like the United States of America is mad now, and and I don't even like that, dude. That ought to round up getting arrested. That should do it. I mean, there's more, but I'm pretty sure you get the point.